I would say in the last 10 years, probably the most impactful thing we have done, other than COVID management, was going to the moon. The Chandrayaan-3 mission, has had a huge impact on the perception of Indians abroad. From my own travel experiences, thought of 6 or 7 really key points today. When any of you go abroad or you meet someone from abroad, these are actually their perceptions of India. One, I would say the dominant one is that this was a country which handled the COVID challenge exceptionally well. It started out as the country of the greatest concern. It ended up as the source of the greatest support. And not just handled the COVID, they actually took the right decisions which enabled us today to become the fastest growing economy, large economy of the world. Because do remember, a lot of countries today have still not recovered from the COVID. That their economic performance even today is still shaped very much by the shock and damage that they suffered during COVID. The second is the manner in which we secure our citizens abroad. Believe me, that has got everybody's attention in the world. A lot of us, rightly, are very proud of how, I'll give you an example of how we got our students out of Ukraine in Operation Ganga. As I said, rightly so. But I also want you to know that there were many countries who actually told their students and their citizens, saying, sorry guys, there's nothing I can do. You now have to figure out your own way out. And these were not developing countries. They were even developed countries who actually told their people, you are on your own. So this change which has come about, that any Indian traveling anywhere has that sense that, look, sometimes people talk about, there's something called a passport index. And the passport index basically is based on how many places you don't need a visa for. To me, there's something missing in that index. I would have put which passport are you carrying and who will come for you when you're in trouble. And believe me, if you put that factor in, you will get a very different passport index out there. Not getting a visa and having an ability to travel easily is just one part of it. What happens when something goes wrong? Who will look after you? Who has a system which is ready to back you up when you go out? To me, that's the real value of the passport. And if the Indian passport today is looked at with greater respect, as I said, one part of it is what we do at home. But the other is also that people know that this passport means that their government stands behind the person who's carrying the passport. The third is our performance at home. I often share with my own colleagues in the cabinet and in the parliament that they think that when the foreign minister goes out of India, all the time you discuss foreign policy. Makes sense. But in reality, actually people abroad are enormously fascinated by what we are doing at home in the rest of our lives. They want to know, how does your ration system work? How does your election system work? How are you getting your gas cylinder? How are you getting your electricity connection? Why is it that it has changed? Because they've read all these stories. That when they look, we are speaking about Japan. Let me give you a number related to Japan. In the last 10 years, we have built 40 million houses and given it to people who are eligible in view of their low income. At 4.8 a family, which is the average number in India, that means about 190 million people have got houses in the last 10 years. That's 1.5 times the population of Japan. Now, when you tell somebody in Japan, guess what? I'm actually housing 1.5 times your size in the last 10 years. They then actually get the scale of what is happening in this country. Then there is, of course, the infrastructure progress. I think we all live in this country. We can see it every day in different ways. But probably much more fascinating to the world is actually those technology feats that we do. Going to Chandrayaan, I would say in the last 10 years, probably the most impactful thing we have done, other than COVID management, was going to the moon. The Chandrayaan-3 mission, has had a huge impact on the perception of Indians abroad. And finally, as I said, a lot of it is about actually a country which has the ability to stand up for itself, for its interests, for its citizens, stand up to pressure, and in a sense, radiate its own persona and its culture.